Now that we've talked almost ad nauseum about output in C++, it's time to turn our attention to input. We've already seen one example of input where we directly assign a value to a variable. And while that's great for some programs, a lot of the times you want some sort of external means of assigning data to your programs. We're going to look at one way of doing that today with numbers using the standard input command cin. Let's create an integer variable called number. Now we want to assign number a value from the keyboard, or have the user enter a value for the variable. To do that, we need to specify that we want to get our input from standard input, which is the keyboard. We do that using the cin command. Cin is followed by two greater than signs, which is the get from operator. We saw the put to operator to put data to the screen or to the console. Now we see the get from operator, which allows us to get input from the keyboard or from standard input, which is generally the keyboard. After the get from operator, we enter the variable we want to put the data into, followed by a semicolon. Now we can display it by using a cout statement. Let's build and run this program. You'll see that the console window freezes and holds with the cursor blinking at us. It's waiting for us to enter a number. We enter a number and hit enter. The enter key is telling the get from operator to stop getting input. So as soon as we type 234 and hit the enter key, then it quits getting input from the keyboard and assigns that input to the variable number. Let's look at another example. Let's comment the cin and cout statements. Let's comment those out. Let me show you another way to create a comment. We saw the double forward slash. Now let's look at another way called /**/. Start a comment off with /*. Then move down to where you want the comment to end and type //. This way you can comment many lines of code with only typing 4 symbols. Much easier than typing // for every line that you want to comment out. Now let's create two variables. Integers again, number 1 and number 2. And this time we're going to get them both from the keyboard at the same time. And we can do that because the cin operator lets us put as many get froms on a line as we want. So we can string 2, 3, 4, however many we need. Now let's display those values with the cout statement. We'll just keep this one on the same line. Okay. Now, before I do this, let me explain what we're going to do here. We're entering two numbers from the keyboard. We'll have to put a space between them so that cin will know that the first number goes in the variable number 1 and the second number goes in the variable number 2. Let's build and run the program. So our console window is just waiting for us to enter some numbers. We'll type a couple of numbers in, 23 space 56, and hit enter. And we see that 23 is in number 1 and 56 is in number 2. So the space is a delimiter between numbers when you're using cin. You need to remember that, because if you try to do it without a space, for example, if I typed 2356, notice it's sitting there waiting for me to do something else. I'm not sure what to do. I hit enter again. It's still waiting. I type another number. Now it puts that second number in number 2 variable. All right, let's finish off with a very simple little calculator program. I'll move the end comment down to here. Actually, I can move the beginning comment up a line because we're not using number anymore. So let me do that real quick. Okay. Let's create 3 variables, number 1, number 2, and result. This time, let's create a prompt for the user so they'll know what they're entering. Much easier than just having them guess what they're supposed to enter. So we're going to have a prompt that says enter the first number. Then we'll get that number using cin. Then we'll prompt the user for the second number. Get it with cin. Write an assignment statement that assigns the sum of number 1 plus number 2 to result. And then write a statement to let the user know what the result is. Okay? Give you a second to catch up with me if you're trying to follow along. Now let's build and run. So we have a prompt to enter the first number. We'll do a simple 2 plus 2. That way we can check to make sure our arithmetic's right without taxing our brains too much. 2. Enter the second number, 2. 2 plus 2 equals 4. That's how you do numeric input in C++ using CN. In my next video, we'll talk about how to use CN with strings, which presents some complexities that we don't see with numbers.